Good evening and welcome to the Craft Beer Nation Friday Night Hangout. This is episode 171. I'm filling in as hosting duties tonight. I'm Charles Dunkley, and this is the Craft Beer Nation. We've got, at the moment, a small group tonight, but we're probably going to have people coming in a little later. And we are celebrating Lagunitas Brewery, which for me is one of my personal favorites. It was one of my gateway breweries that really said, okay, I never need to touch macro beer ever again after diving into the Lagunitas catalog, or at least what I can get here in the East Coast. So I'm going to do a quick introduction of our panel or group or whatever you want to call us. First up is back from overseas is Boris. How you doing, Boris?
Good, man.
Well, you enjoying being back on the right coast, as you call it?
Yeah, definitely the right coast.
Cool.
I will say real quick, I am not on style tonight. I as much as I've had Lagunitas in the past, right now I'm having the very elusive Aquafina. It's such a rare specimen. It's that new session IPA that they're making. It's a badge that Ricky doesn't even have. So, but I have celebrated beer today.
Cool. Hey, Gil. Looks like Gil Mello has snuck in. How you doing, Gil?
Hey, I'm doing awesome. Just getting my beer ready.
All right, cool. And I'm going to run through the rest of the panel before we get into everyone's beers. Next up, we have Jeffrey J. Davis. How you doing, Jeffrey?
What's up, kids? How you doing? Good to see you.
Cool. How you doing? No traveling this week, or?
I've been traveling all week. I just got back last night, so.
Oh, cool. Glad you came in tonight to hang out. Then.
Good to be here.
Cool. Linda, welcome again. How you doing?
I'm so ready for Friday. It is not even funny.
What's that written on your board today?
See, I just kind of scribbled over the rest of what I have to do, and the rest of the list is just beer, and beer.
Yeah, Linda's chalkboard in the background, if you ever notice, it's kind of like an episode of Bob's Burgers, where there's always something different on the menu.
What it reminded me of when Linda was writing that was Bart Simpson in the intro to The Simpsons, when he ends up having to write something 100 times on the chalkboard every week.
Cool. And next up we have Ricky Potts. How you doing, Ricky?
Hey, I haven't been here in a few weeks, so it's good to be back.
Yeah, definitely good to see you.
Yeah, too.
How's golf been?
Golf has been slow. I haven't played a lot. I haven't played in the last 2 weeks, but we hit 117 today, and I'm playing tomorrow and Sunday, and the high both days is 114. So
That's goofy.
And if you call that work, I will slash your tires.
the tires are already melting to the concrete, so there's nothing to slash.
One of these days, I'm going to call up the place where he's playing and have somebody deliver him a dozen roses out there on the course, and he'll be all scared, looking around, wondering who's going to whack him.
Now I know it's you. That's funny.
Cool. All right, we're going to dive into our beers here. Gil, you're up first. You actually have a Lagunitas beer tonight, hopefully?
I do. I've had already quite a few beers tonight, so I'm going to start slowly. I have a Lagunitas Pale Ale.
Nice.
I think they call it the New Dogtown. New Dogtown something. I don't know if that's... I always called Lagunitas Pale Ale, and I've been drinking this for so long, and never noticed that there was actually a name for that beer. Isn't that weird? So,
I don't know that it's always said that, Gil. I mean, do you think that's always been on there?
I don't know. I haven't noticed before. That's why I'm surprised. I think it's the New Dogtown, maybe because of Chicago that they opened since they opened Chicago. I wonder if that's. I'm gonna have to look in the note label.
I mean, the dog is always on the label, but I've never noticed Dogtown.
Yeah.
Do some digging.
Dogtown is Santa Monica, so I'm not sure why they would be using that. But where was that brewed, Gil? Was that brewed?
Yeah, I was trying to see if it says this.
My label says both. It says Petaluma and Chicago, but
Yeah, mine says both too. It doesn't say which the brewery is. But in any
So
case,
the
it's
old one was called Dogtown, and then they have the new Dogtown. I'm curious the difference now.
well, it must be brewed in Chicago.
mm,
Huh. Interesting.
well, the internet will correct us soon enough.
Yes.
Stupid guys talking about what they don't know. No, just so yeah. This is, and I think Lagunitas is, I would say, the best pale ale on the market, but it's one of the solid pale ales you can get. It's well made. It's you know, very favorable. It's the thing is you get used to such a hoppy beer that they make after you drink Sucks and Hop Stoopid and all those beers that they make. The pale ale almost seems tame, but it's an excellent beer. It's well made. There's lots of flavor, and it's easily a good 6-pack to have at home. I won't deny that. It has, nice color. It's kind of a bitter on the beginning, but not as much in the end. I'm not sure. What it lacks a little bit on aroma, I should say. It's not like you're always expecting something on the nose, and the pale ale doesn't have as much, but it's as good. And as every beer from Lagunitas, I don't know, it's hard to say what it is, but you can tell it's a Lagunitas beer. There's this unique flavor to their strain that either you love or hate, and I'm one of those people that love the Lagunitas. So yeah, it's
very true. Lagunitas seems to be go big or go home.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think it's I think it's their solid brewery. They make excellent beers. I just name a few just now, and then just even their stout and there's other stuff are really, really good, and this is no exception. It's a really good, well-made pale ale.
One of the things about this brewing company that I can never get over and that I love is their price point. Like, every beer they release is $4 or $5.99 max. I think the most I've ever paid for a bomber is of the scarcity stuff. They had Doug Nolan was actually just talking about it. It was a barrel-aged coffee beer that was $6.99, and I'm like, oh my god, it's $7. That's like twice the price. Because they just raised the price of the Hop Stoopid bombers from $3.99 to $4.49, and I'm thinking this beer is 100 and plus IBU. It's a fantastic beer. It's $4 everywhere, grocery stores, Total Wines, Bevmos. Like, just the quality of beer they produce for the price point that they produce it at makes me think these brewing companies that are charging 15 plus for a bomber.
Yeah, but you have to remember their volume, and not many breweries have the kind of volume they brew, mainly for Hop Stoopid. But I won't deny, they are probably the best price benefit when it comes to.
Yeah, but we asked Ron about that at the Hangout at Savor, and he said, hey, we make money at these price points. We're making money, so they're pretty happy with it. So
they wouldn't be doing it, and they wouldn't be expanding. And the Chicago space is one of the coolest places to drink beer in that city, and it's like you wouldn't be expanding on the scale that they are if they weren't making money. So Stone is a good example. Stone's cheaper, not as cheap as Lagunitas by any means, but similar.
I would, as a manufacturing guy, Ricky, one thing I would say is they do have a little more focused portfolio than a Stone. They don't have 100 beers. They have 10 to 15 that they're brewing, on an ongoing basis. So it does allow them some economies of scale, probably.
Right, and they don't do a lot of crazy stuff. But I think I'm not sure, but what I see on the internet, this beer, the original recipe was from 1993, and then they changed it used to call it Old House of Richards Building West, and he explained the whole thing. So I think when they changed the recipe, they named it New Dogtown because it was an old house. Yeah,
it was on their website. If you scroll down farther, it says it was Dogtown Pale Ale, and they took it and hybridized it with this Kill Ugly Radio, which was a special 22-ounce seasonal they made to commemorate the 40th anniversary release of Frank Zappa's second album. And then they liked that combination so much, they decided to take the Dogtown Pale Ale and revamp it, and it's
I
turned
mean,
into
that's
the new.
is all intuitively obvious. We should have been able to figure that out without your explanation, Charles.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but overall, and yeah, like if you have never had it, I find difficult. I haven't not met a lot of people that never had Lagunitas Pale Ale, but it's one of those solid pale ales on the market.
Yeah.
It's worth. It's excellent, well made, and you know, at price point, quality point, the flavor. I think it's a beer that you can always carry on your fridge and not be worried about not enjoying it. That's my opinion.
Gil, I would add to your, what you just said, and I remember one of the earlier interviews we might have had on our Pints and Quarts, and I think they mentioned they use, or they like to use, like a hop extract, hop shot, whatever you want to call it, on a commercial level, to get that clean bitterness, hop flavor in their beers. So it is, in theory, the very same throughout. It doesn't matter. Sucks, brown sugar, pale ale downtown, IPA, whatever you want to call it. Depending on how much they use of that hop shot, extract, whatever, it imparts the exact same flavor because it is concentrated, it is focused, and if they add it at the very same time across all their beers, along with whatever yeast they decide to use. I think they only make one lager, they're pills. So for the most part, everything is an ale. So as long as the temperature is there and the control is there, I completely see why for you and for most everything is clean. There's very little distraction from it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And it's it's not clean. It's crispy. You mean like it's a clean flavor, and I agree with you.
Exactly.
And this particular beer is a little hoppier than your normal pale ale. It's what makes it appealing to me as well.
Cool. All right, we're gonna move over to Jeffrey. What do you got, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I'm doing tonight. I'm doing one of their kind of seasonal half-year releases. Is a little something extra.
Nice.
And this it's a really great beer. It's I guess the description of this is it's a little bit big sister of little something something. So I think the ABV is a little bit higher. I want to say something's like 7.6, and this is 8.5, and the IBUs are a little bit higher. I think something's 65 or something, and this is 72. It's still a pretty mild-mannered beer for a Lagunitas. It's not a real palate wrecker or anything like that. And a lot of people don't realize that something and something extra, they're really wheat ales. They're 50% wheat ales. And it's one of those things that, like, if you don't know it, you don't smell it certainly, and you don't taste it. But kind of after you know it, you can sort of get your head around imagining that it's in there. But it's a very easy drinking beer. I think the wheat it helps the hop be a little more floral and tropical. So what I get is sort of what I keep thinking of as mango. It's not a real citrusy or piney hop. It's a little more on the floral tropical tip, but it's really delicious. It's got a delicious almost dank nose, not dank but almost, and tastes really really juicy and delicious. So it's a great beer, and probably sneaky. I mean, you could pound this beer, easily, and you could get in trouble after about 6 of them.
I thought the extra was an IPA. The little something something was the wheat ale, and then
it's the same grain bill as what I've read.
I thought that was the IPA because I know they have a Vice, they have a Wild Ale, they have a whole series of the little something. Yeah.
But I think we got to rely on the internet to tell us that we're wrong. But I mean, what I read is that it's basically the same grain bill.
Okay.
So 50% wheat malts, but it doesn't say that on the label for sure.
Yeah, and on their website they describe it as more wheat-esqueness.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. No, it's good though. It's really good. I've got both of them. I've got something teed up if somebody else doesn't drink that, and I did a side by side of them earlier this week, and they're
Cool.
they're both great beers.
And I like it they have smaller bottles too, because they used to come on bombers, the extra.
Yeah.
I actually would prefer a bomber, but this is all they had at my store. That's it.
Cool. Yeah, and I will just go real quick since I'm drinking the Little Sister, the Little something something now.
Girl, Lemon. Can't you handle the extra 6 IBUs?
There's room in the Lagunitas family for everybody.
And I love how 7.5 is a little.
It's a session beer.
A little something something.
What is the IBUs on that, Charles? It's 60 something, right?
Yeah, yours is 72.51, and let me check this real quick.
Should be on the label.
65 is right. 65.
Okay.
I thought all theirs were like 65.420 IBUs.
They're very exact.
Yeah.
And they all end in 420.
This one is very similar, but it's just like you said, a lighter version. Same. It's got that little floral taste. Doesn't really taste like a wheat beer, but like neither one of them are really strike you as wheat beers, even though they've got a pretty good amount of wheat in them. But I like it. This is for me, a great summer beer.
If you blind tasted that, Charles, and you didn't know what it was, would you think it was a wheat beer?
No, not really.
It's pretty tough to pick out unless you kind of know you're looking for it.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to jump in with mine real quick since it tied right into what Jeffrey was drinking. So we're going to move on over to Linda now. What you got, Linda?
Well, I am definitely leaping right into Friday head first with the Imperial Stout.
You go, girl.
Nice. So good.
And this is definitely an indicator of how hard I worked the past 2 days, because I usually don't touch Imperials. This is totally I find it like funky, fruity, smoky, really intense, boozy, exactly what I want right now. You want a beer, Linda? We're going to give you a beer. We're going to shove it up your nose, and you're going to love it. And I really do. And I've even tried it with some chocolate, but what's even better is chocolate with salt.
That's what I was going to ask you, what the pairing was. So, salted chocolate.
Salt and chocolate, and this thing turns into a mellow Russian bomb.
Nice.
I'm really happy. It didn't start with much of a head, but it does leave some lacing around the glass, and it is dark, cold, dark black. Not as thick as I thought it would be, but it's really pleasant. The texture is really pleasant.
How cold is that right now, Linda? Is it cellar temp or is it refrigerator cold?
I took it out of the refrigerator about 5 minutes before we started, so it's warmed up just a little bit. Right out of the fridge, it was a little unpleasant.
Yeah,
Right now it seems to be getting better.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Yeah, I've got that for the after party.
Nice.
Looking forward to
I
it.
like how they have so much info and they put all this very whimsical stuff on the labels and they put all that and they still have time to put the OG and the the ABV. I mean they squeeze every single information they can on their labels.
Yeah, Gil, I have to agree. I love that they put the OG on there because at any time I can go all geek and I can take a reading of my own.
That's funny.
I like that they put the OG on there because I'm an OG.
That's right.
Well, but of course they also tend to drink by date.
If you're gonna pay for that real estate, you might as well fill it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah,
if you're gonna pay for an acreage of that label that says, okay, you can put X amount of characters within this space, and you can put whatever you want, and you can put OG 10 1.074 IBUs point whatever 75.03. I mean,
And right around the label too, right? To just keep going.
and put a novel on the side of turn it to the side, and then you put a novel. This beer was created because we spilled a whole bunch of beer back in 1997.
No, but that last part, Boris, is Stone. I mean,
that's
Stone
all
takes the whole
Stone.
back,
Yeah.
cracks it down to 3-point font, and writes a bullshit novel of hype that means nothing to the beer. You know.
But I read every single one of those labels before I start drinking that beer.
Well, I mean, this is 9.9%. I don't remember what Imperials are supposed to start at.
No.
9.9% for me is amazingly high.
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, I would say Imperial starts at 8. 8%.
I would say it's technically an Imperial, but not for modern beers, I think.
Yeah. That's just me and Doug would call that a session Imperial.
Session.
Okay, for some of my friends who have never had craft beer ever, this would be completely. I would not serve this to them.
That beer would be, hey, call a cab, leave your keys with me.
Yeah.
You should try, if you want to start them onto stout, and since we talk about Lagunitas, the cappuccino stout is a great beer to serve to people. Yeah.
So
Oh
good.
yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Full flavored coffee, and it's still a stout. Yeah.
That's something. Yeah, that's something my husband Chadine would really love. Is the cappuccino stout.
Pairs well with salted biscotti. I'm just making that up, and it sounded good.
I was like, that sounds delicious.
It's like, where do I get that beer?
Cool. All right, so Ricky, what you got?
So I'm off style too, but I thought since I haven't been here in a few weeks, and I wanted to, and I was so glad that she joined because about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Linda posted a picture of a beer on, I don't even know where you posted it, and I commented maybe in like 11 seconds of you posting it, like, oh, I've never seen that, I want that. Well, long story short, I ended up getting 3 cans of that, and she sent me the Oscar Blues Blue Dream IPA, and it is fantastic. I'm not going to talk much about it.
It's like the spoiled child, like he sees a toy, he's like, I want it!
I mean, yeah. But Linda, you got some stuff coming your way too. But I'm excited to smell it and drink it. I don't know the story behind it. Only 164 people had checked into it on Untapped. So
it's brand spanking new. Spanking new. Oscar Blues has not even gotten it to Oregon. I don't expect it to be in Oregon for quite a while. It was a surprise to see it.
Yeah, but did you say it's all southern hemisphere hops, Linda?
Yeah, all Southern Hemisphere, all Australian hops, yes.
Well, the nose on it's fantastic, and the flavor is out of this world. But Lagunitas to me is like, I love the brewery. Everything they make is good. And we were in Chicago over the 4th of July, and we got a chance to go to their new location, and it was a fantastic experience. I don't know if anybody's been there yet. It's massive. Like, this building is huge, and you go through a hallway, and it's a really cool entrance. You should look it up. I'll find a video.
I'll be there next month.
Like, it's a really, like, the tasting room is in the middle of the brewery, like on the 3rd floor, and you gotta, like, it's a process to get to it, but they make it cool. And you get there, and they've got all the normal stuff on tap, but every week they have a different, never before and never released again beer that they put into a cask that's they tap it on Monday or Tuesday, and when it's gone, it's gone. And she was telling me about it, and it was the coffee aged in something or whatever. And I was like, is it on tap? And I'm looking for it, and she's like, no, it won't be, and don't add it because we don't really want it to be. Like, it's one of those things, like, you go and you know that every week you're going to get something new that's different that the brewers just play with. And I was like, what if they do something that's amazing, and it ends up being this fantastic beer, and they're like, they'll never do it again. And I thought that was a cool thing about that location. I don't know if they do it at the other brewery, but if you get the chance, I highly recommend going. It's a cool spot, and it's a really, really cool experience.
I wish more breweries did that, because there's a brewery here that has like a small, like the Sabco brew system thing. It's like one of their pilot things, and they don't use it nearly as enough as they should. And I wish more breweries would do, 1, 2, 3 barrel kind of one-offs weekly,
Yeah.
bi-weekly, whatever.
Yeah. Well, and it's neat because, like, I mean, they used beer, like, the coffee was, I mean, it's a beer that they normally brew, but then they experiment with it and they have fun with it. And it's, and I asked, I was like, is it the same brewer doing this week in, week out? And they said no, that it's, if, somebody's got an idea, well, go do it, brew it, put it on tap, and it's on tap till it's gone. And when it's gone, it's gone. And just a different way of thinking and knowing, especially if you're a local. Like, I mean, it's in a residential area, so I mean, if I lived across the street, I'm going to go in every week to try new stuff and just to get that experience. And
yeah, I mean, I know that most brewers do experiment, but most brewers don't do what Lagunitas does and offer it to the public. Usually, you got to go in and you got to finesse the brewer a little bit, and then the brewer says, well, I'm experimenting with this, so if you happen to show up next Friday, I might give you a taste before anybody else gets some.
Yeah.
So Lagunitas, totally hats up to Lagunitas for doing that.
Definitely. So, Doug, what do you got tonight?
Doug is muted.
I can't hear Doug
Yeah,
anymore.
he's having a problem with his mic. So,
I don't know how many people have been drinking the Sucks tonight.
Lagunitas Sucks, yeah.
That's
Nope.
what I have. And it is, of course, we're talking about the stats on beers. This is, there's definitely no exception on this one, too. Shit, I just added it up. I can go to the bottle. It's got the, the original gravity 1.085, IBU 63.21. Alcohol 8. I feel like they've rounded it up on the label because the website I feel says 7.85, but who's really counting that 0.15? But
what does it taste like, Doug? I've never had it.
Oh, it's excellent.
so they label, a lot of places label it as a double IPA. I think to me it's more, an IPA. I guess kind of the ABV kind of touches on the lower end of double IPAs, but to me it's like one of the best IPAs I think there is out there. It's very juicy. It's very citrusy. It's got a kind of a dank hop presence to it as well. It's not over the top. I mean, it's bitter, but it's not over the top. It's very balanced. It's fantastic. I don't know really more. I mean, you kind of get some pine notes to it, and the dank, but it's more of that kind of mango citrusy aroma to me.
See, now I know Gil was looking for stuff that had like mango flavors, IPA. Have you had it, Gil?
Oh,
Of course.
I have.
Yeah.
Lagunitas Sucks and Brown Sugar are probably one of the few beers that I buy in case.
But
Wow.
I don't think Sucks is as tropical as like a fresh squeezed or something. It's you get some of that in there, but it's not a purely kind of mosaic hop, floral bomb. It's great beer, and you can get it in a 32-ounce growler, which is awesome.
I agree.
Oh, yeah. That's one of my favorite beers from Lagunitas. To me, it's a big tropical, like mango, pineapple, that whole spectrum. I really love that beer.
I would say brown sugar leans. It leans towards that old ale barley wine line where it's not really tropical. It's more. I've been trying to work on my descriptions for beers. It's not really tropical. I would say it's more just like, I don't know, like raisin, almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
I wanna
More caramel malt flavor in brown sugar. For
right.
sure.
Yeah.
Like Sucks is. Sucks to me is a double IPA with a touch more caramel added to it.
Mm-hmm.
But you drink it like a 6-pack in like 2 days. You know what I mean? Like you don't. I know Gil hoards it. Case of Sucks, case of brown sugar. But like you wanna experience it. Whereas brown sugar, when I got the 1 6-pack that I did get, I was like, whoa, this is a big beer. Like I
Yeah, it is a big beer.
I almost want to age the rest of my 6-pack. But I drank like 2 or 3 within the first week, and then the rest I just kind of let it sit. And then maybe 2, 3 weeks later, I had another bottle, and then like 2 or 3 months later, I had the 4th or the 5th bottle, and then like the last 6 months later, I had that 6th bottle. But it's a very big old ale type of beer. Like you could almost literally age it without it, ruining the beer with the brewery's intention.
Sucks seems. I mean, the describing it as juicy actually makes me want to try it if it's got that quality to it.
But the big, huge but is you have to find it. You have to really find it, and hopefully you have a good bottle date package date.
Boris, I think this is something that you missed out on when you've been in Germany. I mean, this stuff is everywhere now.
Yeah, it is.
And for a 32-ounce growler, $5.99 or $6.99 in mass distribution, like almost across the country. Yeah, it's readily available now.
Oh yeah, we get it in Safeway. We get it in Safeway out here, and it's in the main aisle. It's not even sitting to the side anymore. It's Safeway. Yeah.
So don't be doing any big trades for that, Boris, because you're getting suckered, bro.
Yeah, it's a year-round beer now. So.
You've been too long in Europe.
If I've been feeding for an IPA, I'm just gonna brew it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me too, I like both Sucks and Brown Sugar, and I know there was a variation on each other there, but I find the Brown Sugar a little on the sweeter side, although it's a bigger beer, I think it's almost 10%. It's a little more on the sweeter side. It's not as bitter, and while Lagunitas Sucks a little more, it's not as big, but feels a little bigger for me for some reason. But that's just me. But for me as a Thai, I love them both the same. Although I think that the Brown Sugar this year was a little hoppy. I think something happened on the brewing this year that it was not the usual Brown Sugar that I like. It's kind of on the hoppier side.
I thought last year was hoppy, but this year was way hoppy. It almost tastes like an IPA this year. I mean, it was just. Yeah. It was way hoppier than I wanted it to be this year.
It'd be, we're talking about the kind of the full spectrum of Lagunitas beers, and we don't want to admit it, but there's a lot of similarity among their full range. It'd be cool to sit down at a bottle share and just do the full range, kind of end to end, pale ale up through sugar and cappuccino, stout, and everything, and just see like what's similar and what's different.
Well, and Stone does that too, though. I mean, Stone uses a very similar hop profile, and Lagunitas is the same way. I think that's a good sign for a brewery that's able to make a pale ale that tastes similar and in the same family, so to speak, as a double IPA or an IPA that they brew. And I think that there's a lot to say about the brewery and the brewer's ability when they can do that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, probably the beers Chuck and I had, if we blind tasted and tried to tell them apart, probably we'd be flipping a coin. I think they're not that different, and a lot of their beers are relatively close. So.
Yeah, and what I like about Lagunitas too is the Brown Sugar came out of a failed experiment with their gnarly wine. And then Lagunitas Sucks came out of a scheduling and capacity issue when they couldn't make brown sugar. So some of their mistakes turn into some of their best beers. So they've been pretty lucky in that sense. Now they may have had 100 failed experiments we've never heard about, but they've been pretty lucky that they've managed to come up with 2 spectacular beers just by mistake.
Either that or just they have a knack for a good story.
Yeah, or they have a knack for a good story. I mean, they were known to sit around doing extracurricular activities, so they could have invented who knows what. So who's has their second beer? Anybody yet?
Yeah, I'm up. I couldn't wait, and I wanted to get something that the best value, and I think I calculated out it's 20.4 cents per IBU. Okay, so it's Hop
Whatever it
Stoopid.
is.
$4.99 for a 22-ounce bomber. You know, just killer palate wrecker, hoppy Lagunitas deliciousness. You know, and it's
Oh yeah.
it's not special. It's readily available, but it's a solid beer. And
It's not a special in the sense of it's not rare, right?
yeah. That's what I mean. But it's a great value, and I don't have to wipe any shame off my face drinking this because it's a great beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievably
I love how
balanced.
Yep.
it has its own unique label, different from all the other Lagunitas labels.
Yeah, and does anybody know the story on that? I never really noticed that. It's like the house from that Ansel Adams painting. I have no reason.
It looks like open the mouth, that the door is going to become a mouth that's just going to swallow you in.
Yeah, but so there's got to be a story behind that. Somebody was stoned when they made this label.
Because I think the nighttime is the only one who doesn't have the white background, right?
Right. Clean this mess, or we'll end up in jail. I'll try to read this small point. Maybe there's something about the story. But anyway, so it's a good beer. Very solid if you're on a budget.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's the price point where you are?
$4.99. It's I've seen it now. It's both $4.99 and $5.99. But I bought this last week at $4.99 still.
Yeah,
so.
it used to be $3.99 here, and it's $3.49 at Total Wine now. And it was so funny when they had that, and they raised it from $3.99 to $4.49. I was like, never buying that again.
Yeah.
I think where I am, it might be $4.59 or $4.99 here where I am in New York.
Yeah.
But I think you made a point, Ricky. You know, so it's balanced. I mean, for 102 IBUs, I mean this is pretty drinkable. It's not. Yeah. It's got a pretty nice balance between, you know, pretty aggressive hop profile and and a solid malt backbone. It's not doesn't like hit you in the face one way or the other. Hit you in the face in another way, but that comes later.
Well, I'm gonna go grab my second beer. So does anyone else want to dive into their second?
I'm into Lagunitas Censored.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Rich Copper Ale. Now, I was expecting a real big, huge malt bomb, but to my pleasant surprise, there's a lot of hops in this. Although the IBUs are only 35, I can definitely smell the hops, and it's got a nice big head, but it's a pretty clear copper color, and it's pretty pleasant. 6.7 is still 6.7% alcohol is still kind of high for me when I haven't had anything to eat, but it's pretty good. Definitely great for sourdough grilled cheese sandwiches.
Okay, I was waiting for that. What are you talking about? You've been eating salted chocolate all night, so.
You had me at grilled cheese.
Yeah, grilled cheese. Yeah. That sounds pretty awesome.
And I'll go so far as to say you don't have to use sourdough. I mean, I personally would, but grilled cheese on its own is pretty freaking fantastic, and this would definitely go really well with it.
I just can't wait till the internet advances to the point where Linda can send us our recommended food pairings like over the Hangout.
I would totally do that.
That would be awesome.
Internet food transfer.
Sorry, I missed the whole sourdough grilled cheese beer pairing. What beer is this that you're pairing with sourdough grilled cheese?
Boris, you have to understand, Boris. Every single time I drink a beer, these guys have to hear about what food I would pair it with. So I'm having Lagunitas Censored, and I've tried it. I've never tried this before, and
okay.
I like it, and I think it would go really well with grilled cheese.
You know what? And I would agree. I've had Censored once when I had it in New Mexico, and now I will say grilled cheese did not come to mind when I had it, but on a sourdough. Cheese with the proper cheese and either bacon fat or a nice hearty fatty butter.
Yep.
That would work.
Bacon fat, excellent suggestion.
Everything tastes good in a sourdough grilled cheese. I mean, you can pair water with that, and it's gonna taste good. Come on.
Yeah, even your beer, Boris, would go well with that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, easily.
L'Aquafina. Oh, now we're talking.
Okay, Gil. Shall we get a little deeper, Gil? I would go to a nice fettuccine with an oyster sauce with asparagus.
You lost me at asparagus. What'd you say? Sorry.
I said feta.
You know, I'm like coming across the pond, but not really coming across the pond right now.
Gil had to go and challenge me.
I'm
I'm just going to hire out to Savor. I'm just going to go hire out to Savor because I'm pretty sure they'll want me.
I'm just saying that that was now you went a little more into depth. I'm just saying that pairing something with grilled cheese is always a very safe bet, on my opinion, because I can eat grilled cheese with anything.
No, you can't.
Oh, I can't.
There are lots of stouts that cheese tastes absolutely disgusting with.
A grilled cheese sandwich you can pair with anything, and I will eat it. I give you my word.
But that's you.
Gil, I bet you, I'm willing to bet you will not eat a grilled cheese with a 1-year-old Roquefort 12 or a 1-year-old Westie 12.
No, but that wouldn't be a grilled cheese. It would be a hot sandwich because those are not melting cheese. Those are just crumbling cheese, like aged cheese. That you can make it.
Grilled cheese is a hot sandwich.
Yeah, but you have to have a melted. No, you have to have a melting cheese that goes inside. Otherwise, it's just like any other sandwich. Yeah. It's like any other sandwich with a cheese inside.
Gil's right. Grilled cheese does come melted cheese. Yeah. You can't just throw any cheese on there. Paneer cheese would never go.
I got it.
What is a cheeseburger is a grilled cheese with meat inside.
Okay.
This was the beer hangout. Did I accidentally get in the grilled cheese hangout?
I'm gonna see if there's a grilled cheese community because
there probably is. You can maybe be a moderator.
So what's your second beer, Charles?
Oh, I have a great one.
Bring it.
The undercover shutdown.
Oh, look at that!
I can't get that. Tell us.
This is so good. Look at. First of all, it's absolutely gorgeous looking. I love beers that have that kind of reddish caramel. Just.
It looks pretty hazy.
It is a little bit, yeah. It is a bit hazy, but this is. You get a big sweet maltiness, that caramel, that little toasted biscuit, and then you get your kind of bitter, kind of rind, kind of citrus on the tail end, and it's big and chewy, and this is a nice big thick beer. I think it's a 9.9% too, so it's not a small beer at all.
9.3.
Loads of flavor in here.
Is that a ESB? Is that a bitter?
Yeah, it's hard to. Beer Advocate has it as an American strong ale, but on their own website they say they don't really know what it is. It's like, is it Imperial ESB? Is it something else? Because it really doesn't fit any particular mold. I like this better than the Brown Sugar, which is another sweeter beer. This for me is I like this a lot better than that beer, but it's just my personal palate, and it is just pretty fantastic. And there is a whole story behind it. If you go to craftbeernation.org and you go to our Friday night hangout posts on Lagunitas, I put a link down there to the whole video of them talking about how this whole thing came about. Like at the FBI or people or not the FBI, but they were like.
It was the DEA. It was a major crackdown. Yeah.
Yeah, they were shut down for 20-something days, so there's a whole big story behind it.
I think it was in Rolling Stone, actually. There's a really good article about that whole thing, which is pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, but it really is such a great beer. I'm a big hophead, but I do love beers that have that where the malt dukes it out with the hops, but still it has a nice balance, and this is one of those beers where both of them are the star. There's no one that outshines the other.
Nice.
And this is when you just got to take a big gulp. This is not, even though it's a sipper beer, you got to take a big mouthful and swish it around because there's so much flavor, so much going on in here. It's
And
really,
that's
really
seasonal too, right? That's not a year-round.
Yeah, I don't think this is year-round at all. This is just part of the year.
I agree with you, Charles, man. You gotta.
Yeah, if you see it, grab it.
You gotta get it, drink it, and then relax, watch a little baseball, watch a little football, and then go grab another gulp and watch a little football, watch a little baseball.
Yeah.
Watch a little soccer.
Yeah, in the
little
time that
soccer,
takes to play baseball, I can drink 2 cases of beer, man.
I could too, but I will also know the score at the end of that baseball game.
Nine hours is enough time to drink 2 cases and still know the.
But again, if you find this beer, grab it. It is really fantastic.
Yes, the point of our hangout tonight is if you see Hop Stoopid, little something extra, little something something, Hop Stoopid, undercover, IPA.
Buy it.
Not necessarily in that order. Yeah.
Not exactly. Just go. I'm telling
Just
you,
frickin' buy it.
Lagunitas has yet to fail any of us in this hangout. Plus,
Yeah.
anybody that has had Lagunitas in the last 5 years to 7, plus 15, and anybody that is wanting to join this hangout but forgot to hit the yes button.
That's right.
Lagunitas hasn't failed maybe 1% of this country. They are doing it to us right now. They really are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by no means, I don't think, in my opinion, they are the best brewer. And I can name probably a dozen brewers that I would find better than them, but very few brewers are as consistent as Lagunitas, and I think that's their big thing. I mean, a lot of brewers has some beers that you just crave for. They're amazing, but having a whole lineup that you can be confident to drink, that's a big achievement.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to
whenever I
what
see a new Lagunitas beer, it's an automatic purchase. I don't have to worry
100%.
about it.
I think
Good
part
eye.
of this is what Jeffrey said on the beginning. Like they don't reach too many styles. They go where they're comfortable and they make it well. The lineup that they have.
Yep. And with their new Chicago brewery, they're gonna probably really ramp up. They're already one of the top 4, I think, in production. They're probably just gonna keep getting bigger.
Well, I'm glad to see. I'm glad to see them expanding because that's quality breweries expanding is what we want to see.
Yep, absolutely.
And they make a great Pilsner. This is
Oh,
one of my favorite
dude.
Pilsners.
That was the other
Beer
one.
is
That was
so
the other
good.
one that I was considering getting, and I didn't get that one this
It
time.
is fantastic. And I'm not a Pilsner fan for all that much, but this to me is the best American Pilsner. I like Victory Pills, but I put this one over it.
Oh yeah, it's better than Victory. Yeah.
Yeah, Lagunitas is the sixth largest craft brewery in United States.
6 now.
Oh.
Cool.
Yeah, because England, I think, and then Boston beer.
Now, yeah.
Yeah, that's semantics right there.
Yeah, and then you have Sierra Nevada, New Belgium, and then the Shiner,
Nah, that's not craft brew.
but that's they're still considered craft beer,
That's
but
Texas bullshit right there, man.
wow.
I live in Texas.
No,
You heard it here first. Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel about it now.
Shiner's nothing special. Skip
Their
it. Trust
birthday
me.
beer was fan-freaking-tastic. I don't care who you are. That beer was delicious.
Most of their beers are pretty meh.
Yeah.
I've never had anything from them.
Yeah, skip it.
I will back Jeffrey and Ricky in the Shiner realm. Most of their beers are, but at least they're doing something, like I wouldn't say different, but you know, not revolutionary either, but they're trying to stay within the times. They understand what's going on in Texas in the craft beer, and quote unquote, you know, they're craft. They're not craft, but they're not owned by InBev. They're not owned by Saab Miller. So
Yeah,
That's true.
They
That's
feel
true.
they fill out independent if it's good or bad. They fill out all the specification to be considered craft. So
right,
you know.
Yeah.
but they're when in the realm of craft, it's not like they're pushing it to the limits. They're just like, hey, let's make a holiday beer and let's put it on some hazel. Okay, cool, boom, Dunkelweizen. Here you go. Okay, let's make a summer ale, but not call it a Hefeweizen and actually not be a Hefeweizen. Okay, cool, boom. All right, let's make a blonde ale, but let's and call it different things and put it out there and say one of them's a lager, but it really isn't. Okay, boom. All right, let's make Shinerbach 17 months out of the year. And all right, so let's make an Oktoberfest in July and put it out in August and sell it all year round. Okay, cool, boom. You see, that's where Shiner is that they float between that line.
Innovation is not their forte.
No, it's not. It really isn't because when they
Now, see, compared to Lagunitas winds up being lovely, imaginative, and bold, and yet you know, beers like something are dependable. You know the taste you're getting, and it's exactly what they say you're gonna get.
right, and and like what Charles says with their you know, he was saying that it's the best American Pilsner. Now, I will honestly say I won't agree with him on the best American Pilsner. Now, mind you, I've had probably like 4,000 Pilsners in the last year. And I will say that, and I have had it. I've had it probably, I don't know, a half a case. And it is an outstanding American Pilsner. But I've also had Victory out here on the East Coast.
Prima
which
Pils.
Prima Pils, which I've had, which I love, and I've had
and
other Pilsners.
I love Prima Pils too.
Of other East Coast. I will say the fact that Lagunitas Pils is pretty close to what is made out in Germany. They have to be doing their research with their water profiles, their malt profiles, the hop profiles, the hops that they need to use. The fact that they're doing that is a testament to what they're brewing, whether it be in Chicago or in California. It doesn't matter. They know that. Look, listen. You know, they're only using 2 malts in Germany, maybe 3 at most, and they're using this type of water profile because the water in Germany is going to be this soft or this hard, whatever you want to call it. So I won't go out there and say that it is the best Pilsner in America, but it is right up there in the top 10 because you have, you know, most of America isn't making outside of the macro beers, isn't making Pilsners like that. They're not taking the risk of lagering a beer for 4 weeks to 6 weeks to make it exactly like it should be, like from Germany or Europe. But I do love Lagunitas Pils. I will back Charles on that and say that it is a great beer for a Pilsner from Lagunitas, who is known for their hoppy beers.
Yeah. And it says that they have loads of imported Saaz hops for that beer.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, last month they did. I wonder if that is it's a one-off. They did the Chicago Fusion 30 or XXX, whatever you want to say it. And I heard a lot of people. It's a Belgian strong. I heard a lot of people saying that it's really good. I wish I had it because I do like.
I've never
that.
seen that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. And Lagunitas is coming out with an Imperial Pilsner. That's going to be an 8.6 ABV. So I'm curious to see how that's going to end up being. It's supposed to be available now. It says availability July, so it's got to be out there somewhere on the market.
We usually get it. We usually here up in the Northwest, we usually get things after everybody else. I don't know why, coming from Petaluma, but it's hard for us to get it, so I have to wait.
Is there a name attached to that Imperial Pilsner?
Yeah, I
Yep.
can't find
It's
it on.
just Imperial Pilsner.
Well,
Imperial Pils.
they did the scarcity #1 was an Imperial Pilsner.
Yeah. This one's Imperial Pils. So it's basically a bigger version of their current pills.
Yeah, I had that in last year. Huh. Oh, I'm excited.
So anyone
Sound
else
very
have
excited.
another beer, or are we getting ready to wrap up here?
No, I am.
Nope, but I do have to. I do have to thank my friend Sid for sending me the Cadbury's chocolate. Thank you, Sid.
Cool.
It was wonderful with the Lagunitas Imperial Stout, and when you get here, I will treat you to some Lagunitas beer.
Did you finish that stout, Linda? Did you finish it?
No, actually, I decided I was going to be nice, and I shared it with my husband.
Okay.
Hey, that's better than a cork.
Yeah,
Or
better
stopper.
than a bowl of literacy.
No, I wouldn't cork it. That sucker'd get drunk tonight, even if I had to drink all of it and the censored, of which I have 2 more.
Cool.
And the sun's still out, so I mean.
Yeah, you got
That's
time.
right. That's right. I got to drink. I have to drink until the sun goes down. That's the rule.
That's funny.
I'll briefly, because I was the only one that started the evening with not a beer. And for those still watching, yeah, it was L'Aquafina.
L'Aquafina.
Well, I moved on to a local, extremely local, probably like 5 miles away.
Please tell me that's not the local water.
No. It is
That's the EPA special.
Oh, that's funny.
it was,
So what is it for us?
Aleworks Brewing. This is their smoked brown ale. So
Oh, nice.
Aleworks is so good.
it is
I
essentially
love brown ale.
their brown ale smoked with mesquite smoked malt. Somewhere around 5.8 to 6%, AVB. Probably 25, 35 IBUs. This is the last of the growler.
Looks like it. It looks like you got some yeast in there, bro.
Yeah, I can't.
From the bottom, we can see it more than you
Yeah.
probably do.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
on
yeah.
I'm on a cell phone right now. So
I thought that was like your crotch-mounted GoPro.
Lots of.
I'm
Looks like there's lots of yeast, but
no, this is definitely not yeast.
so is it nutty?
It is actually a little bit a touch nutty, not like hazelnut, but they tweaked the recipe from their normal brown ale to complement the smoke, and then they tweaked their hop profile to also work with the smoke. Because I know Jeff probably is the one that can relate the most to smoked beers, because in Germany they absolutely love rock beer.
Rausch beer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You want to pair it with that smoke. You don't just want a citrus bomb with this ashtray like beer. So this particular beer tends to be more, I would say, smoke than a brown ale, but the brown ale works with the smoke. It ends up pairing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It ends up pairing pretty well.
Works.
Their brown ale is a staple. It's a year-round beer here, so they just took it a little bit, threw in some mesquite malt, and threw it on their small batch, and they kegged it up. And when I went to get this growler, they happened to have it on tap. This is the beer that I hadn't had from them, because I've had like 98% of their beers, and I was like, let's do it. So this is the beer for tonight. I am off style. I am Randy Gardner / Ricky Potts tonight. So
All right.
it wasn't just L'Aquafina.
Cool. All right, so we're going to do a quick roundtable here, and we'll start with you, Boris, since we're already on you. Give us your favorite beer from Lagunitas.
Ooh, favorite beer. I will have to say Little Something Something, because I've only ever had it once. and it was, to me, different from what they've always put out. So it's different from Hop Stoopid. It was different from IPA. It was different from Maximus. It was different from Coffee Stout. It was different from Censored. That's the reason why I would pick Little Something Something. Now, I know there's a little something extra, and there's the one that they use.
Little something Vice. There's a
Little something wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
Something wild. So
Yeah.
I think part of that would be now in my life because of living over there in Europe and Germany, where I've had copious amounts of Weiss beers. So thinking of what Lagunitas has done and then pairing it with what's been done in Germany for the last, I don't know, 1,000 years, I'm just guesstimating. That would be spectacular. A little something wild. That would be my beer.
All right, Gil, what's your favorite?
I think for me it would be a tie between Sucks and Brown Sugar. I think a Brown Sugar is, probably by a margin would be my favorite. I would like to say that's their WTF, just because the name is so, the Wilco Tango Foxtrot. Just because of that name, but I would say probably Brown Sugar and Sucks are my. I have several that it's a close tie, but if I have to pick one, I'll pick Sucks. There you go.
Cool. All right, Jeffrey?
I would say,
Muted?
yeah, I'm unmuted. I would say similar to what Boris said for the same reasons, because I love their beers, but I find like a lot of similarity among a lot of their range. I think my favorite is one that I thought somebody was going to show up with tonight, but nobody did. Is that their new beer, the Equinox Ale, because I love that hop. It's so unique. The earthiness and the eucalyptus it kind of brings in is really cool and kind of unlike anything else I've had. So for me right now, I think that's probably my favorite beer, just favorite Lagunitas beer, just due to the uniqueness and the sort of difference from the rest of their range. So I hope they do more with that hop, which is really cool.
Can I rectify my answer just because I forgot the Cappuccino Stout?
No.
Cappuccino Stout.
No, you gotta stick with what you got.
I
boy.
forgot Cappuccino Stout.
All right, Linda, you're up. What's your favorite?
I think for a very hard week like I had, Lagunitas Imperial Stout is going to be number one. It's
Excellent.
It's so satisfying.
Cool. Ricky?
I could say any of the number of beers we've listed. I am a huge fan of that Imperial Stout. I loved their coffee that was aged. The Equinox is a fantastic brew. But I think I couldn't pick, and it wouldn't be fair to pick, because every time they release a new beer, I get excited. And you had said it yourself. If there's a new beer on the shelf, I'm going to buy it. Well, their next beer is going to be my favorite because I'm always looking to try new beers from a brewing company that is consistently good, and I know that the next beer they release will be. And I can't wait for whatever it is. And if you said they're making an Imperial Pilsner, maybe that's the next one. Sign me up, and let's go.
Cool. All right, so I will close out with my favorites. I have to give a shout out to Lagunitas IPA. That is, for me, the quintessential flagship West Coast IPA. If anyone says, well, what's a West Coast IPA? Lagunitas IPA is the beer I'm going to give them. Now, there are others like Stone IPA and many others that are all in that wheelhouse. But for me, that is the beer that when I drank that for the very first time, that's when I knew that's it, macros. I mean, because I bounce back and forth between beers from all over the world and your macro beers, depending. But once I had that first Lagunitas IPA, that was the end of your AB and Bev, kind of beers. But that said, I have a tie like Gil, and both of mine are not on Lagunitas' website. If you go to lagunitas.com/beers, they're not there. One of them is the Wilco Tango Foxtrot, which is sort of an Imperial Brown Ale.
No best name for a beer.
Yeah, it's a great name. They couldn't call it Whiskey Tango Foxtrot because even though that's the real call letters,
Yeah.
because they can't put whiskey on a beer, So they changed it to Wilco Tango Foxtrot. But that is it's got all the delicious hoppiness and the flavors that you expect out of a Lagunitas beer, but it's an imperial brown at the same time, which gives it this whole unique spin on it. That and a Lagunitas Imperial Red. Now, Imperial Red and Maximus were both released at the same time, and Maximus won out on the market, but for me, Imperial Red just blew Maximus away. And they still occasionally will release Imperial Red as bombers, and anytime I ever see it, I grab it. Because it is just, as far as a big Imperial Red Ale goes, I think that's the best one I've ever tasted. So those are my two personal favorites. So anyway, we're going to wrap up here. This is, I think, the second time we've done a Lagunitas night, and it's been a long time between, and I know Lagunitas has appeared in many, many of our Hangouts. Anytime there's been any hoppiness or anything going on, there's been a Lagunitas beer often appearing. So I had a lot of fun tonight, just diving back into the brewery, researching some of their stuff on their website. If you go to their website, at the very, very top, they've got this little thing with music, because they do a lot of music festivals, and they've got a lot of bands, songs, live streaming right there. And they've got some really, really cool music there. So just, I'm a big music fan, so you should go check that out.
They did. I think they did a play. Was that JVC? What was the company who had that little dog with the you know?
That's
RCA.
RCA. So
Yeah.
what they did instead of having the dog in front of the gramophone, they just have one of those dog protection collar off the head of the dog. So I thought was an interesting play on that.
So we're going to wrap up here. Next week, it is going to be great breakfast beers.
That's right, and keep your eye out for the intro.
Cool. Yep, we are looking forward to that. Breakfast beers are maybe a harder category for some people. I suspect we might see some oatmeal beers or who knows what. So maybe some blueberry.
There better be a Founder's Breakfast Stout.
Yeah.
Only makes sense.
I'm sure that's going to show up at some point. But I'm looking forward to that one. So anyway, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lagunitas, for some great beers. And this is the Craft Beer Nation signing off. And have a great Friday. Have a great weekend, everyone. And we will see you next week.
Cheers, kids. Cheers.